Yesterday, I decided to count my football shirts. I came to the conclusion that I got over 400 football shirts, but not all of them are expensive. Actually, I would say the majority of shirts I buy are quite cheap. I've been collecting for years now, and I pretty much know all the ins and outs. But if you want to start your own collection or maybe just started one and you have a small budget, I actually got some tips and tricks for you in this video. The first thing I recommend doing is setting a clear budget. If you got a specific amount of money you can spend on football shirts every month or maybe even every week, it's gonna give you a very good idea of what shirts you can actually buy. Maybe if you've just started out, you want to buy one football shirt per month. In that case, you could try to save up 90 euros per month or 95 or 100 euros or US dollars, because nowadays that's the price of an official replica in the store. And yes, of course, I'm talking about new shirts. You can also buy shirts from previous seasons, but I'll get to that topic later on in this video. But yeah, let's say you can spend 100 euros on football shirts per month. Even if you only buy one brand new shirt per month, in 1 year, you will have 12 nice shirts. And I think the average person doesn't even have 12 football shirts. So when people ask you how many football shirts you got, and you say 12, they'll be like, whoa, that's a lot. But you know, we are shirt collectors. For us, it's normal. Man, I even remember back in 2015 when I started collecting football shirts, one of my friends asked me how many I got, and I said 4. And the guy was starstruck, he couldn't believe it. He was like, yeah, that's so much. And I was like, dude, this is only the beginning. Or let's say you got a nice side job or a side hustle that even allows you to buy one football shirt per week. Depending on the price of a shirt, you could possibly end up with 52 shirts in 1 year. But honestly, I don't recommend buying 52 brand new shirts in 1 year, because you would end up spending a bit over 5k on football shirts in just 1 year. And I think that's an amount I spent on football shirts last year. Well, this year is gonna be more or less equal. But yeah, having a clear budget is very important for the beginning of your football shirt collection if you're on a tight budget. So let's say if you can buy one football shirt per month, at least make sure you focus on clubs and players you like. So if I had to start all over, I would probably start buying Mbappé football shirts because he's my favorite player. So this month, I would try to buy the Real Madrid home shirt with his name on the back. The next month, I'll try to buy his France shirt, and maybe the next month, I'll try to buy the Real Madrid away shirt with his name on the back. By doing this, you make sure you can keep your collection meaningful. And I think having football shirts that mean a lot to you makes collecting way more fun. Or maybe you're a big fan of Inter Milan. You know, in that case, you could buy the home shirt this month. The following 3 months, you could get the away, third, and goalkeeper kit. And for the rest of the year, you could, for example, focus on other vintage shirts. Now, let's say you got a budget of 100 euros per month. I can tell you it's very much possible to find amazing vintage Inter Milan shirts for 100 euros or US dollars. So imagine the potential of 1 year of football shirt collecting. You could already end up with a very nice Inter Milan shirt collection, focusing on both current players and legends. I can tell you, if you put these 12 shirts next to each other, it's gonna look wonderful. You know, I'm talking about legendary players. That kind of gets me to tip number 3. I would advise you to prioritize classic or timeless designs. I think the impact of shirt collecting is way bigger if you focus on rare shirts. And yes, I know it's a bit contradictory to say, because usually rare shirts are more expensive. But if you stick to your budget of 100 euros or US dollars per month, I think it's very much doable to find amazing shirts. And if you don't really care about rare shirts, you can still go for the older shirts, because usually the older shirts are a bit less expensive. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to have an FC Barcelona shirt with Messi on the back. His most expensive home shirts are probably the 08-09 home shirt, the 10-11 home shirt, and the 14-15 home shirt, because those were the seasons in which he won the Champions League with Barcelona. I know this means that these shirts are way more iconic than the other home shirts. So I would advise you to get, for example, the 1920 home shirt with Messi on the back. I think it's perfectly doable to find that one within your budget of 100 euros. And you still end up having this iconic Barcelona home shirt with Messi on the back. I do have to tell you that not every vintage shirt is expensive, but especially the popular shirts. And yeah, well, I just gave you an example of why a shirt can be popular. And this is, for example, because Barcelona won the Champions League in the 14-15 home shirt. Another example would be the purple Real Madrid shirt from the 16-17 season, or the Manchester United 2008 home shirt in which they won the Champions League as well. It's safe to say that the prices of the shirts I just mentioned are higher than the price of the current shirts of the teams I just mentioned. Just gotta remember, if something memorable happened in that shirt, it'll probably be more expensive. Tip number 4 would be look for discounts and sales. Because if you don't want to buy brand new shirts in the stores, you can also wait until that store has got a sales going on. Because at the end of the season, it's very common for football shirt stores to have discounts. So nowadays you pay around 90 or 100 euros for an official replica. If you wait until the end of the season, discounts can be as high as 50%, which would mean that your shirt will only cost 45 or 50 euros. Something I gotta mention is that it's not always guaranteed that you'll find your size. Because as the season goes on, people who got more money will probably buy the shirts before you can buy them, which means that this will probably leave you with the remaining sizes. So maybe sizes like extra small or extra large. So if you only want to buy brand new football shirts in stores, I think your best bet is waiting until the end of the season. The second possibility would be to check out secondhand clothing stores or websites such as eBay and Depop. On these platforms, people are basically trying to sell their old football shirts. And this doesn't mean that they're in bad condition. You'll see that a good amount of shirts is actually in amazing condition. And if you get more familiar with how to find good deals, you'll see that you can find amazing shirts for low prices. Using websites like eBay actually got me to tip number 5, which is buying vintage or secondhand football shirts. There's lots of people who buy perfect new football shirts. They don't even cut the tags off, but they just leave them in their wardrobe. After a while, they want to buy a new shirt, or they're just done with it and want to sell it. If they want to make quick money, they'll probably try to sell it for a very reasonable price. So an example would be this Croatia 2022 home shirt. It's got Modric on the back and it's even brand new with tags. This shirt would have cost about 120 euros in the store, but I ended up paying like 70 euros for it. And that's definitely a nice discount, right? And the good thing is that the shirt is just like new. I just wasn't the first person to have it in his wardrobe. But of course, you can also buy used shirts without tags, and even these shirts can still be in quite good condition. And obviously, the price will be lower as well. Because let's say the shirt got some imperfections, I would probably end up paying like 55 or 60 for it, maybe even 50. Tip number 6 would be to join online communities or to create a social media account. I think I follow a few hundred football shirt collectors on Instagram because it's always so refreshing and interesting to see someone else's collection. Besides making friends and exchanging knowledge, you can also trade football shirts with other collectors. And I think this is a perfect way to get some nice shirts if you got a small collection yourself you're trying to expand. So maybe after a while you got tired of your Inter Milan shirt collection and you want to get some shirts from different teams. Probably not Juventus or AC Milan. But yeah, maybe you can make a nice trade with a Dortmund shirt collector. Maybe that Dortmund shirt collector is interested in your Inter 1920 home shirt with Lautaro on the back. And in exchange, he gives you, for example, his Dortmund 14-15 home shirt with Royce on the back. This allows you to get some more variety in your football shirt collection if you want so, without having to spend another 90 or 100 euros. Tip number 7 would be to focus on lower league or lesser known teams. Because if everyone always buys shirts from the most popular clubs, so let's say Barcelona, Manchester United, Liverpool, AC Milan, Bayern Munich, and so on and so forth, why don't you try buying a Real Betis shirt, for example? Because Betis is still a big club in my opinion, but it's not as popular as Barcelona, for example. And the same goes for national teams. I'm sure people are more inclined to buy a Brazil or Argentina home shirt than an Ivory Coast shirt, for example. In that case, and this is especially true for secondhand football shirts, you can pick up shirts from lesser known teams for way less money. I think I found this one for 20 euros and it's a super clean shirt in perfect condition. So if you don't mind having lesser known teams or clubs in your collection, this is definitely the way to go. And let's say you still got 100 euros to spend on football shirts every month. I think using this method you can easily buy 4 football shirts per month. Tip number 8 is probably a tip you don't want to hear, and it's gonna sound very corny, but be patient. Because I also started out with nothing, I didn't really have any money when I was a teenager, and I don't really have rich parents who would buy me football shirts every month either. So I can tell you that building a nice football shirt collection takes a lot of time and patience. There's a lot of knowledge you're still lacking, especially in the beginning. That's why I think it's better to find a few nice deals in the beginning of your football shirt collection journey than trying to overspend money because you want to build a nice collection as quickly as possible. That's just not going to work out, especially if you got other priorities you're supposed to be spending your money on. So just remember, especially in the beginning, prioritize quality over quantity. It's gonna be a bit weird for me to say this, but I still apply this rule to my football shirt collection. So the 400 something shirts I got right now are actually all shirts I really like. Okay, maybe there are 10 I don't really care about, but let's say the overwhelming majority means a lot to me. If you buy one very special football shirt every month, that means a lot to you. After 1 year, you'll end up with a collection of 12 shirts that mean a lot to you. And I think this is the best type of football shirt collection you can have. Well guys, that's the end of this video. I hope the tips I gave you will be helpful for you. I'm sure that by implementing these tips and tricks, you'll be able to build a solid football shirt collection within 1 year. Because I wouldn't say that the more money you got, the better your collection will be. If you know what you're doing and if you can find the best possible deals, you'll end up with an amazing collection in a short period of time. The next YouTube video will have a bit of a different format. I'm still not gonna tell you what I will do, but I'm sure you will like it. So thanks for watching this video and I hope to see you very soon.